Hey, thanks for checking the video out. I want to take a look at a plugin today. This is HoRNet Thrust. They very kindly sent me it. Thank you again. It will come to no surprise to people that when you look at this, it's a loudness thing. It's meant to give you some extra loudness. And when you look at it, you'll see that it's meant to be... Am I allowed to say it? I don't know. It looks like the Sonnox Inflator, and of course I'm allowed to say it. They're not paying me. It looks like the Inflator, and it looks like it's meant to kind of be a similar thing. I've used the Inflator for a long time, and I really like it. This HoRNet plugin, the HoRNet plugins, no, HoRNet plugin is it's cool, but it doesn't do the same thing. It's meant to like null with the Sonnox Inflator. Let's just take a look at it, because to me it's a different source. Okay, so here we go. This is the HoRNet Thrust. So if I just bring up the Sonnox Inflator as well, I'm not gonna, I don't know, I'm not gonna try and make this like this versus that kind of thing. I want to take a look at this HoRNet Thrust because the concept is cool, but there's no escaping the fact that you've got input, effect, curve, output, and this loudness thing, which we're going to take a look at. But yeah, there's no kind of getting away from the fact that it is very, very similar. So it's meant to give you a bit of extra loudness. We'll take a look at the controls. To me, it's have a listen to it. Okay, so let's just play it, and we'll play around the controls. So this effect is essentially a wet dry. So if I want to bring in a little bit of extra of the plugin, then I'm going to bring this effect up. So just take a listen to what it's doing. Okay, so as I bring the effect up, it's quite clearly giving you a bit of extra loudness. This is just applying a clipper at 0 dB. If anything clips, then it's just kind of soft clipping it, I think. Soft clipping it. This is multiband mode. Let's go into wideband mode for a moment. We've got a delta, which is nice. We've got oversampling, which is cool. And then we've got a handy on-off switch. Now, I want to do something. I want to bring the effect up and then bring the output down. And you'll see why. You see, when I do that, when I turn the plugin off and then on again with the output attenuated, I don't hear any difference. So the effect is at 57%. So let's bring that all the way up and bring the output down a bit to kind of counteract that. We'll volume match the input to the output and see if it's the same thing. So this is what the delta says it's doing. So the delta, for those of you who aren't familiar, a delta is kind of the in versus out. So it's essentially, if you click the delta, it will tell you what the plugin is doing, like what the changes are. So if we click that, it's pretty significant. But when I listen to it, I don't know, I just don't really hear it doing a lot. It's maybe squashing a little bit. The loudness, let's try bringing that up and see if we get a bit of extra oomph from it. Yeah, so that's kind of reining in on transients a little bit. The snare is sort of being brought down if I play it with it on and then off. Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds fun. Let's go to the inflator, which there's no getting away from this. People are going to compare the two because it's quite clearly a something that's meant to go up against this. If we just take the HoRNet out of it for a moment, bring this across, get rid of that. So we're on the HoRNet, the inflator. Can I make that bigger? No. Okay. See you later. So if I bring this in, so the effect on this one was all the way up. Even if I just have the effect on like 30 odd %, then bring this band split off, you can hear a difference. Definitely a difference. Even if I attenuate the output to try and match them a little bit better. There's a definite difference there. There's a little bit of a fattening. Now you can go kind of crazy with this if you bring the effect all the way up and take a listen to that. There's a definite richness that inflator is adding. Now I have seen and I have heard that this will actually null with the inflator at certain settings, and sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not going to try and do that because for a start, I don't doubt that it can, and the reason that I don't doubt that it can is because I've heard, I think 2 people now say that it does. So I wouldn't like to say they're wrong at all, but my findings with this plugin are that it doesn't really do that, and I think that the Sonnox Inflator does sound great, and I like it a lot. And I'm not denying that this sounds, it doesn't take anything away from the sound. It does sound cool. It's fine. But my issue is that by bringing down the output, I can essentially get no change. I can make it so that it basically sounds exactly the same as when it's not on. And to me, that's weird. To me, that's like the opposite of a plugin. I don't know. Am I being harsh by saying that? I'm not sure. Like, yeah. Should I play around with it a bit more? I think maybe this is the issue, that I'm not giving it a chance. So let's just mess around with some settings. I feel like I want effect up 100% because I want to just hear this. And if I have the effect at 100%, then when it's turned on, I'm just getting this. When it's turned off, I'm getting none of it. So that should be the biggest difference. Let's change this loudness and let's change this curve. Now on the, sorry to bring the inflator up again, but on the curve, if we put these tooltips on, we'll see that the curve modifies the processing characteristics and sonic effect of the inflator. Settings between 0 and +50 provide increasing fatness and volume enhancement. Settings between 0 and -50 produce the most subtle changes in sound. Okay, so if that's the case in the inflator, with the absence of a manual, I don't have a manual with this plugin, so I can only assume that it's doing a similar thing. So anything up here is going to give me loads of effect, anything down here is not. So let's have loads of effect. Let's just slam all these up to the top. Let's put it in multiband. Let's see what we can do, see if we can actually get it to sound different than when it's not turned on. There's the slightest bit of oomph there. I'll give it that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. That's my issue. I'm making a video about something and I'm meant to be all knowledgeable about this. And I don't feel all knowledgeable about this because I can't make it do something. I did a video ages ago on, like seriously years ago, on the compressor in Reaper and how I couldn't get it to do anything. And don't go and watch that video because it's horrible. But it was annoying because I just couldn't get it to do anything. And I can't really get this to do much. I don't know if because it's meant to be for loudness, okay? So maybe this LUFS meter will tell a different story. We're clipping now. Great. That's always good. So let's reset this. Let's play a little bit with the loudness down. No, actually, let's get loudness all the way up and with the plugin on and see what it says on the loudness meter, and then turn the whole plugin off and see if we're getting any extra loudness with it on or not. Okay, in that whole measure, integrated 18.8. Let's turn that down, reset it. So that was loudness up at 100 and effect, 60%. We should be getting something there. (19.2). So we've gained 0.4 of a lufs. That's not really that impressive, is it? Okay, let's go effect all the way up, curve all the way up. Let's go crazy. Okay, so it's minus 19.2 with nothing on. Let's see what we can get here. This is everything maxed out. Actually, sorry. No, that's right, because that's how let's just game match it first. Whoa. See, do I hear a little bit of something there? I'm not sure. So what was it? Minus 19.2, I think it was. Okay, so let's go for it. Game matched. And it's quieter. Brilliant. What? Okay. See, the problem is, because I'm game matching it, I'm making it so the input or the bypass signal is the same volume as the output signal. Am I missing the trick by doing that? It's adding a load of signal, but the question isn't, is it able to add a load of level? The question is, does it make it sound better? And if I do the A/B comparison with it gain matched and it doesn't sound any better, then what's the point? So let's just bring this up, okay, to 0, and let's just check the lufs now. I'm actually going to turn no, I'm not going to turn the master down. Just turn your speakers down. Yeah, it is louder, quite considerably louder. It's clipping, but whatever. But it's just louder. If I were to then gain match that, it doesn't sound any different. We've just heard that. I think it was like minus 6.5 or something. If it's a wet dry, then we're going to be getting like 50-50. See if that makes any difference. Yeah, obviously we get lower signal. Okay, we get oversampling in this, which is not really going to change the sound that much. Not enough to necessitate us turning it on to hear a massive difference. But in the inflator, I don't know, I just feel like anything I do, let's turn that thrust off. Anything I do with the inflator, I get a difference. So even if we've got this, set, I don't know, quite conservatively, let's go effect 50%. We can hear a difference there if we turn it all the way up. Even if we do it the kind of janky way. It's still doing something. Sorry about this bump in sound, by the way. It's just what happens in Logic. Don't know why. There's definitely a difference there. Really, no matter what you do with the inflator, if you have the curve set above 0, then it gives you a sound. If you have it set below, it gives you a far gentler sound, a far less emphasized kind of sound, but it still gives you a sound. So I think that brings up 2 points. Yes, well, let's go for the good stuff first. So first of all, if you want to get your mix louder, then it does that. It lets you get it louder. As we just saw, we could bring the LUFS level up from like -19 to, what was it, -13 or something like that, with only a teensy-weensy bit of clipping. So if you want to do that, then this fader is going to be really good for you. It just doesn't seem to me like it does much else. And I'm going to keep going back to this inflator point, because when you design a GUI that looks like this, that literally copies like for like, faders in the right place, or all that kind of stuff, you can't really moan at someone for comparing the two, because they are modeled to be the same thing. So I don't know, what's the takeaway here? It's a lot cheaper than the inflator, which is a good thing, obviously. I don't feel like the effect is as much as the inflator, but maybe I'm using it wrong. I don't know. In my mind, I've gone through every kind of different iteration that I can, and still, when I bring the output down to kind of counteract the loudness that's added, it sounds the same. Even if we go take soft clipping off, or just clipping maybe, take multiband mode off and stick oversampling on, just to give it a bit of extra protection. Yeah, it does sound a little bit different. I don't know. It seems to sound a little more different when I do the on-off switch like this. I don't know if that's just me, if it's just playing tricks on me, but when you turn the effect on and off, I expect that to be a bypass. I expect that to be nothing in here is making any difference to the sound. But take a listen to the difference. A little difference, I don't know. And then with this one, no, I think that's actually my ears playing tricks on me. There appears to be a little bit of thickness and maybe a little bit of like mid-range grind, but to me it doesn't do the same thing as the inflator. There are at least 2 people out there who disagree with me. Is there anyone out there who's tried this HoRNet Thrust? Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It gives you a bit of extra loudness, but I don't feel like there's anything, I don't know. I feel like there's other plugins that can do that. I feel like a game plugin can kind of do that. But it does kind of squash things a little bit, I guess. If we look on a, let's just go on to a limiter. Let's bring on, where's my favorite limiter? Plugin Alliance. I like their limiter. Where is it? Oh my god, look at all my plugins. There we go. BX limiter true peak. There we go. Okay, so if we bring this in, and if we, oh, you have to double click it. Great. So if we just bring that on and take a look at how much is actually being kind of limited here. It's not being limited at all. So it is kind of squashing it, because if I were to just essentially take this out and give it a load more gain, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get it to tell me if it's like actually squashing down on transients or not, or if it's just giving it the kind of the apparent loudness. Yeah, I don't know. There you go. To me, it doesn't seem to do nearly as much as the inflator, but it has a far lower price tag on it. But the inflator's not that expensive anyway. And I'm struggling with my own conscience comparing the two, but the fact that it looks absolutely identical just doesn't stop me from making that comparison. It means that I have to make that comparison because HoRNet plugins have made it look identical, so they're actively competing with the inflator. And to me, it doesn't sound as different when you bypass it. But let me know what you think. Give it a try. I'm sure it's a free trial. Don't know. But there you go. HoRNet plugins, Thrust. It's all right. Take care.